Hey, how you doing there? Henry Olsen here from Super Simple Guitar, and welcome to another 5-Minute Friday. Short and simple little lesson that you can take, make your own, and have a lot of fun with over the weekend. So today I'm going to be showing you one of the most beneficial things that I ever learned for playing up and down the guitar fretboard in terms of playing chords, okay? So we're going to be learning three simple shapes, only three shapes. And if you remember these three shapes, you're literally going to be able to play chords up and down the guitar fretboard, major chords, minor chords, sus chords, seventh chords, all kinds of chords with ease, okay? So I promise you, this is an overstatement. This will change your guitar life if you have not learned this or came into contact with this concept. So stick around, let's get into it. All right, welcome back. So today we're going to be working out of the chord E as our example. And as I said, there's three shapes you have to remember if you want to play chords up and down the guitar fretboard, right? With ease. Now, these chord little triads can be built upon, but we're going to be keeping it in the most simple possible form. And then later on, once you've really internalized this, you can always go deeper. Okay, I just want to introduce you to this concept today and get those wheels turning in your brain and have that light bulb moment go off for you. Okay, so the three shapes are the E shape. And I'm calling them E shape, D shape, and A shape because those are shapes that you already know. And we're going to use those shapes to access the E major chord on different parts of the guitar fretboard. Okay. Okay, so the first one is the E shape. And again, we're playing the chord E. So that should be pretty clear. The second shape looks like a D, but we're going to slide it here to the 5th fret. So now my ring finger is on the 5th fret. Again, accessing the chord E, right? See how cool it is? We played E here, we played E here. We just have to use a different shape, okay? Now the last shape is the A shape, right? As you learned as a beginner. But to get an E using this shape is you're going to have to slide it over to the 9th fret, okay? And then after that, after the A shape comes the E shape, okay? So the really cool thing, once you really memorize these shapes, is that the distance between them is never going to change, okay? So after the E shape comes the D shape, after the D shape comes the A shape, and after the A shape comes the E shape. And you can walk this backwards, you can walk it forward, you can play it however you want. You're just going to have to remember the pattern of the shapes, okay? And the cool thing is once you've done that, you can do it accessing any chord, okay? This is the light bulb moment here for you. So now let's try to do it in A, okay? So for A, I'm going to have to take that E shape and push it over here to the 7th fret, okay? But you can see after the A shape comes the D shape. After the D shape comes the A shape, as you know it, right? And again, behind that E shape is the A shape, right? So it's this pattern that never changes. And once you really get it using, let's start with E as our first example to practice this. Once you really get this with E, it's going to be easy for you to do it in, let's say, G, right? You're going to be able to do it using any chord you want, right? Just first learn it using E to get a good feeling for the distance between the patterns and kind of the sequence that they go in, okay? So that's step number one. That's your homework. Do that first. Spend a day, 2 days, 3 days really getting a feeling for where they are. And then the cool thing also is once you're ready, you can also build upon them. So upon the E shape, you can build. Upon the D shape, you can build. Upon the A shape, you can build, right? You can add notes to it. So these are little islands that are going to show you kind of the core notes that you're going to need to know. And then once you really know that well, you can always build upon them and do all kinds of more interesting and cool stuff. Okay. Also, if you want to go deeper and really learn this stuff with me, inside of my All Access membership, I have an entire beginner 101 music theory course. So I highly recommend checking that out if you want to really take a deep dive and really understand the guitar fretboard. But this is definitely going to get you on your way. Okay, so that's the first thing about these three shapes. That's the first thing you're going to practice. Do it in E first, then practice it in B, let's say, right? Then practice it in G, whatever, F, anything you want, okay? So that's step one. Step two, and this is the last part of this lesson, and it's gonna really blow your mind, is now the cool thing about these shapes is that the interval spelling or the interval degrees within them is always gonna be 5-1-3. That's all you have to remember. 5-1-3, 5-1-3, 5-1-3. It's always stacked 5-1-3. Now, why is that cool for you? Or why is that great news for you? Because once you remember the 5-1-3 sequence, you're always going to know where your intervals are within these three shapes, the three simple shapes. So why would you want to know that? Well, if you want to modify those chords and instead of playing a major chord, play a minor chord, or instead of playing a major chord, play a sus chord or a seventh chord or whatever chord, you're just going to have to slightly modify these shapes and you're going to be able to do that. So let me give you an example. We're going to go from E major to E minor, E major to E minor, E major to E minor. Are the light bulbs going off in your head yet? I hope they are. Okay. So since you know this is 5-1-3, you're always going to know where your third is. And if you know to get a minor chord, you need a minor third and not a major third, you're just going to have to flatten that third. Everything stays the same. To get the minor, you just have to flatten the third. To get the minor, you just have to flatten the third. Right? Okay. So now all of a sudden you're playing major and minor chords up and down the guitar fretboard within seconds. Let's try that example with A. So that's A major, right? 5-1-3. Flatten the third. A minor, right? Let's try it with this shape. That's 5-1-3. 5-1-3. Flatten the third. Same thing, right? 5-1-3, 5-1-3. So now all of a sudden, you could do it here too. All of a sudden, you're playing chords up and down the guitar fretboard with ease, major, minor, all kinds of modifications. Last example, let me show you sus4. So we're going to do the example in E again. For sus4, we need that sus4 in there, right? 3-4. We need the fourth interval, okay? And inside of my music theory course, I have all of these interval degrees and spelling written out if you don't yet understand what that means. There's just not enough time for me to go into all of music theory here for you, okay? But for sus4, you need a 5-1 and a 4, okay? So we're going to have to modify our third into a 4. Right? Let's try it here. See that? I'm going from my 3, there's my 1, there's my 5, I'm going into the 4. 5-1-3, sus4. Going back down to minor. What if I want a sus2? I just need that sus2 right there. There it is. I could do it here too. I can't do it here because there's not enough space, but theoretically, if I wanted to, I could do it like that. And I'm able to do that on the fly because I understand how to count intervals and I know where these simple little triad islands are, okay? So master it using the chord E, then try it in G, try it in A, try it in B, play around with it, get a sense for it using your ear, and then learn the different interval degrees. Again, that's all inside of my All Access membership if you want to go deeper with me. If not, you can probably find it on the internet if you want to stumble around the internet for hours. Yeah. So, and that's about that, okay? So I'm going to have this chart tabbed out for you. For free. You can download that so you can get a good feeling for it and practice it. Let me know how it goes. And if you like this lesson, make sure to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Check out the All Access membership. Everything that I've ever created, every single course is inside of there. It's $14 a month. You help me keep the lights on and you get to learn a ton of stuff on the guitar. Okay. So that's about that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.